Welcome to our final week together, everyone, in Science 260. We were all about looking at STEM topics this term, and STEM, of course, stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And you guys picked really great topics. So let's see what we've got going on. So first of all, last week you wrote your science block. If you haven't turned this in yet, be sure to still turn this in before the end of the term because it's a big grade. I will be grading a lot this week, so just be watching for my grades. But this is a lot of work this week on your science blocks. You chose great topics like honeybees detecting lung cancer, to artificial intelligence used as diagnostic tools in healthcare, detecting all different kinds of diseases and conditions, to climate change, etc., etc. You had lots of good topics, so I can't wait to see what you wrote. This week is a little bit calmer, which is awesome for me. It's not quite as crazy. You have a reading this week, and it's all about science literacy. So it is very important in the world today for you to be able to analyze something in a scientific manner, not everything, of course, but important issues that have to do with science, yes. You need to analyze things scientifically. You need to be able to read the literature. You need to be able to critically think about this and evaluate what it means, compare sources and what they have found, and then use that information in your lives. It is very, very important. How many opinion pieces do you see out there these days on the internet? I mean, everything is everybody's opinion. Oh, how helpful is that? That reminds me of when COVID started and everybody had opinions about where it came from. We didn't know. And some people jumped in, on social media and said, well, why don't the scientists know? Well, they're doing the research to find out. And we don't say anything until we have data to back us up. So you need to understand this. It was terribly important to, yes, find the source, yes, find out what exactly it was. We didn't even know what kind of infectious agent it was. And we found out it was a virus, and we have one that's similar to it that causes another type of SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. So we found out that it was a virus, that it was spread through the air, that it was extremely contagious, that it was very harmful to especially elderly people and people who are immunocompromised and little children. So we figured all that out, and then we started on the vaccination bandwagon, and oh boy, people had opinions about that. It's absolutely untested. Okay, billions of people have had this vaccine now. I know I have had 7, and I'm about to go get another one. Have there been any reported deaths? I have not heard of a single one. Have there been adverse reactions? Of course. There are always adverse reactions. You can take a bite of an apple and have an adverse reaction. You can drink a glass of milk. If you're lactose intolerant, you know what I mean right there. People have allergies to everything anymore. I mean, I have a couple. I'm sure you have a couple. So there can be adverse reactions, but there weren't a lot of them. There still aren't reports of a lot of them. Have they protected the population against COVID? They absolutely have. So you got to look at things through a scientific lens, especially if it is a science topic. And so hopefully you have learned that this term by doing your searches of the scientific literature, by analyzing the data, finding out how they did the study, interpreting what the results mean, and then using that information to help you convince somebody about a particular topic. So science literacy, you're going to have that reading this week. The only thing that's due this week are the 3 discussion board postings. I know you're all in the background cheering now, but 3 discussion board postings. So this week in the discussion board, remember your initial post is due by Thursday. How did your knowledge of STEM and science grow, change, expand by doing this particular project? What did you learn by doing this research this way? Please tell me that you did learn some things, because it's very important. It is a skill set, right? It's like learning to drive, like learning how to write, type. It's a skill set. And so I hope that you have learned through this. And how can you apply these skills to your everyday life? If you use technology in any way, you should be able to do this in a scientific way. What about the next courses that you're going to be taking? How can you apply this type of thinking and this type of research to things in your future? And then your to response post, of course, you're going to compare your personal experiences to your peers' experiences. Did you have similarities in attitudes and skills that changed? Did you have differences? Did they learn something that maybe didn't occur to you, or wasn't part of your skill set that you learned this term? And yeah, I think I covered that. So your response posts are due by Sunday evening. All right, so that's basically what you got to do this week. It's going to be a light week for you, not such a light week for me. Final thoughts. Finish any work that you need to do and get it turned in. The last day to turn in anything is Sunday, August the 25th at midnight, by midnight. At midnight, the course closes. You cannot upload other things. I cannot upload other things. All I can do is grade for the next 2 days. So if you're having issues, if you've been sick and you just need to catch up with a couple of assignments, then we could consider turning in an incomplete for you. A reminder from last week, because I told you this, that 70% of your work has to be completed successfully before we can even request an incomplete. Incomplete just means that you get a month or less, depending on what we decide, you and I, to finish up your work. It doesn't go on indefinitely. All right, so let me know if you got any issues like that, or if you're having any issues whatsoever. Just let me know. And finally, I would ask that you please fill out your course evaluation. This is the first time that I taught Science 260, and so I'm interested in your thoughts about this. And tell me how I can improve. Tell me what I've done good. Tell me how I can improve. This is important to me. This is important to my team lead, who watches over me in the whole course and has already done my evaluation, and my dean, who watches over lots of different courses and lots of different instructors. So please do your course evaluation. That helps me out a lot. If you need anything, please let me know. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm here for you. I'll help you any way that I possibly can. And with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week this week.